I don't even know where to focus. So let's get started on today's show. Let's start with this. So check this out. This is Jamesville, New York. It's live. Stuff showing up on here like very clearly. And what's most interesting about this particular shot was, to me, was this green thing that shows up on the horizon right there. Let's try it again. Notice it's a lens flare. It comes up, but that's kind of new. We've seen this red thing, but we haven't seen this green thing. Now the shocker. Okay, hopefully it comes up. Indeed, yeah, that one. Guys, this is a very serious one. I'm looking at this and I can't tell you what I'm seeing here exactly, but what I think we're looking at is pretty compelling. I'm going to do a close-up of it so you can all see it. You can see this thing obviously has some kind of a trail coming down behind of it and some other object in front of it. This is just a shocking, unbelievable image that I got, that I was tipped off on by a sub. I have not updated it yet. I just went right to the site and left it there. So let's update this one together and look at it. But that's a really convincing image there, guys. I don't know how much else that you would need to see at this point. It's a pretty convincing photo. So let's do an update and see if that still, yeah. So it's not as dramatic in this now in the current shot, but it certainly is still, still visible for sure. Get your comments on that. Next thing is, I'm not going to sit here and say that scientists aren't agreeing with this anymore, because I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is agreeing with our whole movement right now with this video that I just linked to. And basically what he's basically saying in this is that not having an asteroid defense is criminal. And he's shaking his finger at all of us that we don't have a proper asteroid defense shield set up. And then we've got the new black chemtrails. We actually got a young lady that did a wonderful video on this that's on the Ron Johnson channel that I've linked. Chemtrails. So basically, she goes through and talks about the black chemtrails in detail.
They're a little weird. They're perfectly straight. They're literally...
So that's pretty interesting, for sure. The next one is a WordPress blog that basically, you can notice that my website's really slow. That happens a lot now these days. But this is actually a non-Nibiru believer that is saying that the Earth's axis has changed. So go take a look at that, further proof. And then finally, I wanted to show you this one. This is a really compelling one. I've got a picture from one of the subscribers in, I think, Sweden, where this happened. But basically, a meteor had come over, and then all the lights went out in this little localized area in Scandinavia. And so I will actually show you a picture from one of the local, one of my subscribers from their backyard when this happened. Just an amazing thing. So we're going to get off the internet now, because it's certainly not helping us at all for this video. Let's just leave. And let's go to this next thing, which I think you'll find very interesting. This is a subscriber that actually went out on 3/22, collected rain, sent it in for analysis, and lo and behold, we have high levels of aluminum, high levels of barium, and high levels of strontium. And I know we're not the first ones to do this analysis on the, heavy metals or whatever that are up in our atmosphere right now, but I just want you to be aware of that if you're having health problems, especially if you're having confusion, if you're having extreme, tiredness, if you're having those kinds of symptoms where you just don't feel like you can move, you need to go in and ask your physician for a test for aluminum poisoning. And we're starting to see that people are actually getting poisoned from this. And there's these things called decliants that you can take both for iron oxide poisoning and for aluminum poisoning that will help to eliminate it from your body. Hopefully that will help anybody that that's feeling the effects of this aluminum poisoning that we're experiencing. This is an extremely interesting photograph, because we think that we actually got a picture of one of the planets before they chemtrailed it out of view. All these pictures are from the last 2 days. That's why I don't date them. You just look at the date on my video, and it's all from the last 2 days. This very strange, phenomenon, very intense rainbow activity. This one is a very strange one, because we've got the lens flare here with the dots on it that we think that might be caused by cameras. But what is this? orb up here. What is that orb? That's not a lens flare. This is a lens flare. That's not a lens flare. Again, we're seeing more and more. I mean, I can't get to all the evidence, literally. This is from All Sky Cam this morning. This again from the New York cameras sent to me by a subscriber. Why do we have like 4 different sunrises? North, south, and west. I don't get it. Yeah, we get it. This one shook us up a little bit because we actually saw this rise before the sun in the south, which is weird. Then we are seeing this big like pillar of flame or whatever it is. I think it's light escaping from the corner of the halo myself, but you know, again, just these are just from this morning. The only reason I wanted to show this one is it was a really clear shot of what Eric Briggs was sharing with us the other day about the planets visible in the magnetic spectrum there. And then this is from March 3rd, just showing, you know, the progression of it. Australia, this is just a strange cloud. We'll get back to this one in a second. This is a person that went to a planetarium program that actually confirmed what Eric was saying about the 20-degree further east and all that kind of stuff that we were talking about in terms of the Earth being pulled or tilted. This is just a strange ass, you know, again, part of the halo thing in Florida. And again, you might think I'm monotonous. This is all new evidence. This has never been seen before, some of this stuff. And I can't tell you how interesting this is on one level, but terrifying on the other. This is just more of the now that we know what we're looking at in Alaska. Here's an observation from a gal that noticed that both Hubble and the ISS are pointed towards this one spot in space. This is a person that actually, you know, went out and saw a bright spot one night, turned off all their lights, and basically were able to see an orb and circle it on their camera. This shows up all the time. We don't see a lot of chemtrailing and everything, but it almost seems like we see this phoenix figure and everything with the system. Kind of interesting. This is a UV filter. That's a light flare. That's a lens flare. That's not a lens flare. Again, I think this thing is coming towards us like a freight train, guys. I don't know how much time we've got. So anyway, here's the big halo. Now, what's interesting is this is from this morning in Michigan, and their chemtrailing is so heavily that you can see the shadow of it, I guess, of the chemtrailing. But there's the halo showing through. It's getting really hard for them to hide that halo, as you can see. And oh, this is a picture from somebody's backyard in Sweden when that meteor went over and took out lights moments after the power went out. And then here's that halo again, but this time the halo was taken from the Netherlands. Not more than 5 minutes after I got the Michigan photo, I got this photo from the Netherlands. So the halo is not a local effect, guys. The halo is a space effect, okay? Here's this, again, all this evidence is showing us is that this thing is getting closer, and I'm pretty sure we've got enough evidence to win any court case right now. If I went in as a lawyer, I could win a case on this issue. But this one really floored me because it's just the reality of it, right? This guy went out and found a star chart from back in '98, and he indicates that an actual looking at this map versus the sky that we see right now, it shouldn't be that far off. It shouldn't be there. Orion shouldn't be on out, and so it draws into question a lot of the astronomy software that we see out there, if it hasn't been somehow manipulated to make us feel like it's normal to see Orion in the spring, which we shouldn't in the northern hemisphere, guys. Okay. This is just seemingly like an orb from that spot, and this is Trip Aussie that gives me these pictures, by the way. Here's some folks that had done some interesting CME activity analysis, and again, here's more of what we saw from Mr. MBB the other day, where we can see an object behind these CMEs using a variety of different satellite views. This is just, again, planets showing up, clouds, guys, if somebody's trying to come here to get convinced that this system exists, I can show you a lot of stuff to say, yeah, it exists. The question is, when are you going to accept that it exists? When are you going to accept that it's real? This is just a weird ass thing I saw in France. Now that could be some kind of reflection of the lamp. There are other beings involved here. It's not just the human race. And the reason I wanted to show this France photograph is because there's just weird stuff going on all over the world. And it's very important that we acknowledge the truth and start getting on the path of righteousness, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to have to resist, and we're going to have to, basically, we're going to have to deal with and cope with. Here's another really cool image of one of the sky cams where we see this really dark object showing up, and this is in Central Time somewhere, so it's in the middle United States. This is, again, these big, large lights showing up right around sunrise. And then Eric, of course, Eric Briggs has to send me the best photograph of them all, which is actually showing the dark star on the horizon from the Alaskan Skycam, also setting off its unbelievable magnetic pattern across the screen. All right, so that's what I wanted to get out today. I just wanted to share a couple things. I think that it's getting, I think it's a lot closer than even I thought it was, guys. So let's stay close.